Just Cheesy the Podcast, presented by Just Cheesy Productions.
Hi there, I'm your host, Fondue.
Cheesy here.
This week, we're honoring Mother's Day in the United States. We're going to talk about the mother.
Whoa.
We're going to learn about rennets and cultures. We're going to discuss a cheese-making nun, Mother's Day merchandising, a new recall, and we'll begin to celebrate American Cheese Month.
Woo.
And no episode would be complete without our very cheesy joke.
Joke.
Stay tuned for episode 130, Mother, on Just Cheesy, the podcast. I'm sure a lot of people out there have heard of something called the mother when it comes to sourdough bread or even apple cider vinegar.
Oh, yeah.
But did you know there's also a mother culture in cheese?
Whoa.
We talked about this quite a long time ago, but in order to make cheese, you first need something called rennet.
Oh, yeah.
And rennet's a term for an enzyme that's used to coagulate milk.
That's right.
There are both animal and vegetable types of rennet.
Oh.
Animal rennet usually comes from ruminant animals.
Ruminant.
And I know we talked about this before, but a ruminant animal refers to a large group of herbivores with 4 chambered stomachs.
Oh, yeah.
According to PetMedCenter.com, they're the only animals that can actually digest their food without thoroughly chewing it.
Whoa.
Most ruminants have hooves with 2 digits.
Okay.
And you know what these animals are. They're
I
typically
do.
cows, sheep,
Oh.
goats, moose, camels, deer, giraffes, and buffalo.
Right.
When rennet is added to milk, it helps coagulate it,
Oh.
and it turns it from liquid into curds and whey.
Wow.
According to JuniperPublishers.com, in an article called The Role of Starter Culture and Enzymes, they describe a starter culture as one or more strains of one or more species of desirable bacteria used to inoculate a raw or pasteurized product.
Whoa.
And this starts a fermentation to produce a fermented food by accelerating and steering its fermentation process.
Okay.
And this starter culture is basically a mix of good bacteria that you add to the milk.
Ooh.
They're important because they eat the lactose or the sugar in the milk and they produce lactic acid.
Okay.
It helps give the cheese its tangy flavor.
Ooh.
And according to cheesemaking.com, this is New England's cheesemaking supply company.
Ooh.
They have some information about cultures.
Ooh, okay.
Here it says that back in 1978, when they started this company, there were no cultures or enzymes available for home cheesemakers.
Aw.
And they desired to share this cheesemaking, and they began packaging cultures into small packets
Ooh.
for home cheesemakers.
Nice.
Says here, if it's frozen, it'll last up to 2 years.
Whoa.
And at room temperature, it will last around 2 months.
Wow.
According to CurdNerd.com, there are a couple of different types of cultures.
Okay.
One is called mesophilic.
Okay.
And this type of cheese culture is best suited to work in moderate temperatures.
Really?
And this means that milk is neither too hot or too cold, so this is anything up to 90 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
They describe some of the cheeses that would use this process, such as Neufchâtel, Chèvre, and cottage cheese.
Ooh.
They even talk about things like baby Swiss and blue cheese.
Yum.
There's a second type of culture called thermophilic.
Okay.
And this is one that can withstand high heat. It's used to make cheeses that can be heated up to 130 degrees.
Whoa.
These are cheeses like Romano, Parmesan, mozzarella, Emmenthal, and Gruyere.
Yummy.
Now, we've made some cheese here without cultures
Yeah.
and without rennet.
Yeah.
You're typically limited to things like fresh cheeses like cottage cheese or paneer.
Ooh.
And in these cases, you can use something like lemon juice or vinegar.
Whoa.
And most of the time, these cheeses are eaten fresh and they're not usually aged.
Yum.
New England Cheesemaking Supply Company is not a sponsor.
Nope.
But if they were, the ad would go right here. Have you ever wanted to listen to the web?
Yeah.
Well, Newsly makes that possible.
They do.
They're an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android.
Super app.
You can listen to trending articles on the web on topics that you choose and get them read to you in a natural human voice.
What kind of topics?
Sports,
Cheese?
tech, business, science.
Cheese?
I'm sure there's even cheese.
Yay!
They even have an entire section for podcasts.
Are we there?
Of course we are.
Ooh.
It's one of my new favorite podcast apps. They even have digital radio.
Holy cow.
Just go to www.newsly.me to download it free.
Whoa.
Or use the link in the description. If you use the promo code CHEESY,
Cheesy.
that'll get you 1 month free premium subscription.
Yay, Newsly.
Now, back to the podcast. According to abbeyofreginalaudes.org, there is a nun named Mother Noella
Whoa.
who was featured in a PBS documentary back in 2002 and also featured in 2016 in the CBS Morning website.
Whoa.
She's been making raw milk cheeses at the 400-acre Abbey in rural Connecticut since the 1980s.
Holy cow.
According to NewWorlder.com, a cow named Sheba was donated to the Abbey, and Mother Noella began making cheese from her milk.
Nice.
Initially, she wasn't having much luck with the cheese,
Aw.
but a French woman came and actually gave her an ancient recipe.
Whoa.
Bethlehem cheese is the Abbey's version of a pressed, uncooked, semi-hard, fungal-ripened, wash-drying cheese that was
Whoa.
produced in the Auvergne, I'm
no.
pronouncing that wrong,
Yeah.
region of central France since at least the 17th century.
Whoa.
This is the same type of mold that appears on brie and camembert.
Ooh.
They describe the bacteria like an ecosystem.
Wow.
And Mother Noella really became famous because she actually went up against the FDA.
Whoa.
Mother Noella took classes at the University of Connecticut and earned her PhD.
Nice.
There was a listeria scare in 1985, and the FDA began to crack down on raw milk.
Ooh.
They feared that Mother Noella's wooden barrel would encourage pathogens,
Oh no.
so she was forced to switch to stainless steel.
Whoa.
And then she began having problems with E. coli.
Oh no.
She had a simple experiment that became famous.
Really?
She did tests, and E. coli went down in the wooden barrel, but not in the stainless steel tank.
Wow.
And according to this article, she was the first to look right on the cheese and ultimately provided the science for the long-held theory that raw milk cheeses have naturally occurring organisms that protect against pathogens.
Whoa.
According to DeliMarketNews.com, Car Valley Cheese is looking for ways to merchandise to your mom.
Whoa.
It says here, Mother's Day is an ideal time to celebrate the legacy and history within the Car Valley story.
Ooh.
They say the cheeses are not just ingredients, that they're a part of a shared experience and a way to create lasting memories with family.
Wow.
They also go on to say that they see cross-promotion as a great merchandising strategy.
Oh boy.
They say consumers want ease.
Yeah.
So if you provide an easy application or recipe, they say it's a quick way for customers to achieve the experience they want to offer their loved ones.
Whoa.
They say they're looking to strategize with retailers on how to best promote the cheese category for Mother's Day and beyond.
Oh, boy.
And they're going to be attending the IDDBA and the Summer Fancy Food Show.
Whoa.
I guess, in other words, people want you to buy some cheese for your mom for Mother's Day.
Cheese for mom.
According to amp.miamiherald.com, we have another recall.
Oh no.
Aldi, Hy-Vee, and some other chains have recalled cream cheese spreads that might have salmonella.
Oh no.
These spreads come from Green Bay, Wisconsin's Schreiber Foods.
Ooh.
According to the article, Schreiber's whey protein concentrate supplier had a salmonella problem.
Uh-oh.
There's a link in our show notes where you can find the states, the product, and the UPC codes of those products of the recall.
Oh good.
It's time for my favorite segment.
This week in cheese.
Did you know that May is American Cheese Month?
Ooh.
According to nationaltoday.com, the website gives 3 reasons why they love American cheese.
Ooh.
1, it's a slice of heaven.
Oh, yeah.
2, it's a comfort food. And
Okay.
3, it's America's gift to the world.
Ooh.
Well, stick with us in May because each of the next 3 weeks we're going to be talking all about American cheeses.
I'm ready for a joke fondue.
Okay. What do you call an unappreciative cheese?
I have no idea.
An ingrate.
Oh,
Grate, like grating cheese?
That's-
An ingrate?
that's dumb.
Don't you know it? And it's a little bit cheesy. Thanks for listening to Just Cheesy the Podcast, episode 130, Mother.
Thank you.
Make sure to go to our website, www.justcheesy.com, and submit your very own cheese joke.
Yeah.
And we'll read it on our show.
And stay cheesy, everybody.